Welcome to UK Foot Golf News.
Welcome to UK Foot Golf News, the first UK-based podcast that talks about everything foot golf in the UK.
I'm Sean Rontry, your host, and this is episode 4. Let's get straight into the news. And first up, Foot Golf England competed for the first time against Foot Golf Scotland in a two-legged affair featuring 32 single matches. The first leg was played at Rosebery Grange Community Golf Club, with the 32 players going to head-to-head in an 18-hole stroke play, score v score, playing for one team point. And England came out victorious, defeating Scotland 10.5 points to 5.5 points. The second leg saw Foot Golf England defeat Foot Golf Scotland 10-6, with the second leg being played at Bridgend Golf Club in Scotland. This completed a 20.5 points to 11.5 points victory for Foot Golf England in this inaugural match. Massive congratulations to team captain Ben Clark on leading the 14 men and 2 ladies to success. Now we move on to the North of England Open. Congratulations to Ben Clark on a single shot victory over Mark Cowell at Rosebery Grange. Clark covered the beautiful North East course in an unbelievable 10 under 60 to win this UK International Tour event, as high winds meant many struggled. Scotland's Matt Morgan finished third after defeating Jason Parkinson and Jamie Cullum in a playoff. In the amateur section, Adam Keith defeated Matt Richards in a playoff, with Mark Eagleston in third place. Mark also won the over 45s category with Sean Rontry second, and Lee Richardson finished third. Sophie Brown added another trophy to her collection with a 2-shot victory over Natalie Richardson, and Claire Williams finished third in the ladies category. Now we move on to the Scottish Open. What an amazing final flight, which led to Tom Spink defeating Jason Parkinson, Jamie Cullum, Ben Clark and Clinton Moore to win the Scottish Open at Bridgend near Edinburgh. In the men's amateur category, a brilliant score of 67 meant Paul Chivers cruised to victory, with Paul Bolton second and Chris Hopton third after defeating Sean Rontry in a playoff. In the over 45s, it was a similar story, with Sean Rontry claiming the title after a playoff win over Carlos Borum. Mark Eagleston was third. Natalie Richardson once again proved why she was one of the best females in the UK, with a 4-shot win over Sophie Brown, with Scotland's Terry Newell in third place. One other bit of news coming from these latest tournaments is that Jamie Cullum, with his third place finish in the Scottish Open, becomes the new world number 1 foot golfer. Congratulations to Jamie, and long may it continue. Time now for special guest number 1. This man has played in the World Cup in Argentina, the Janssen Cup in America. He's currently ranked 6th in the UK national rankings and 2nd in the Super Series. I'm delighted to be joined by one of my favourite players, Tom Spink. Hi Tom, how are you this evening?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, it's a pleasure. Just want to talk to you really. First of all, the Scottish Open. You were crowned champion. I was following you in the flight behind, and you were with some big players in that flight and that final round. How did it go for you?
For me, it went very well. I was obviously with Clint, Carl, JP, and for me, the best player on the planet at the minute, Ben Clark. So I had to keep up with them. Compose myself, pick off the birdies at the right time, and just hold my ground. I had a brilliant first round in the morning, 8 under coming in.
Yeah.
So I knew the emphasis was on them to chase, and apart from a couple of hiccups, I managed to get the job done, which I'm very pleased about.
Yeah, I think after the first round, obviously that was in the pairs, but obviously counts as the first round. I think it was you and Clint with the best scores. Is that right?
Yeah, minus 8.
-8.
I'm just carrying on my form from before that tournament. Really, I've failed to finish outside the top 7 in every event this year. So for me, it's all about consistency as this game, and I was glad to carry it on.
Most definitely. Yeah, I thought it was an absolutely brilliant result for you. Was it right? I mean, Jamie Cullum, Ben, like you say, all big figures, and for you to come out on top was a major achievement.
Yeah, of course. You ask a lot of players that I play regularly, and they said it was only a matter of time. My consistency levels have been so high. Sometimes your win can be because of other players either making mistakes.
Yeah.
People playing golf or foot golf, you'll realise that they're playing the safe way and the correct way can win your titles, and thankfully won me the Scottish Open.
Yeah. How did you find the course in Scotland?
Well, I went down last month. I went up last 1 month, sorry, and played Declan Reid in the match play in the last 16. It was a lot different. There were a few harder holes. I mean, the par 3, the 8th hole, that was a new hole, and that was for me one of the best holes that was played this year.
Yes.
But in terms of weather-wise, it was wet. You need to kick a ball a lot harder and a lot more accurate than what we're used to. Made it a long, tough course, but managed to get the job done.
Excellent. So your season so far, I mean, is that the highlight so far? I know you had a win in Ireland.
Yeah, I did. I went over to Ireland. I finished 4th overall on the European Tour, but I managed to defeat Jay Parkinson in the playoff for that as well.
Again.
I don't want to be on. So I'm very happy. I mean, this year I'm not overplaying. I'm picking and choosing the tournaments that I want to. It's more relaxed. I'm beginning to find that I'm enjoying my foot golf more. And you can see by the results that although I'm putting in the time and effort to practicing, not overplaying is key for me.
You're certainly doing well. I mean, you're 6th in the national ranking, so that puts you 6th as well in the race to Paris. So you're pretty much odds on to be part of the UK team in the European finals. Yeah. So
I'm buzzing with that. To represent your country, it's massive, isn't it? And to do it with the mates that you've brought from foot golf.
Yeah.
We're going over there and we're looking to win it, of course.
Well, I certainly think we've got a team strong enough to beat any team really in the world at the moment. The sort of the players that we've got, the Jamie Cullums, the Ben Clarks, yourself, Scotchy, Jay, Neil Shave, Gavin Craig from Scotland. The list is endless.
You can reel off a list, and that's what's so good. I mean, the strength in depth that we have as a country, for me, makes it the best. This tour that we're on at the minute is the best in the world for me. You come up and you don't take it seriously, or you don't play to the best of your abilities, and there's that many people wanting to put the effort in and practice to overtake you.
Definitely.
The quality just rises, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, I've seen that firsthand. I'm on the tour regular, as you know, and I see all of you play. And I aspire, even at my age, to be like you or Jay or Ben, and as Overs, we try as hard as we can. And we always look up to you guys. We think just how well you play. You're always professional, all of you, and you're a credit to the sport.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. If you'll admit yourself, last week you were the winner of the over 45s. Once you get that winning feeling, you just want it again.
You want it again. Yeah.
You try it hard, and winning is winning, and there's no better feeling, is there?
No, none at all. No. So obviously we've got the big event this weekend, the UK Open.
Yeah, we have.
You feeling confident?
Yeah, feeling very confident. We've got the pairs with Andrew Duffy that I'm playing in first. Which is more, we are looking to win it. We're a good pairing, me and Duffy.
Yeah.
But it's more about getting a feel for the course. It's a bit more relaxed. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And then we kick on to the weekend where the real thing is.
The real action takes place on Saturday and the Sunday. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it as well. Yeah, it should be a great weekend.
You talk about the winning feeling, and that's what you want. That's what every player wants to win their own UK Open. So. That's
Excellent.
what I'll be looking to do.
Excellent. Well, I wish you all the luck for the weekend.
Thank you very much, Matt.
And hopes for the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, we've got 20 odd events on tour at the minute. The top 12 best scores, is it?
Yeah.
So I mean, I've got plenty of events to catch up on. The Ben Clark's, your Jay Parkinson's. I mean, if I win the match play and I finish top of the UK Open, in terms of the UK players, I mean, there's no reason why I can't be UK number one at all. There's no reason why I can't be.
Not at all. I mean,
that's what I'll be looking for.
No, it's big points this weekend for the winner, which could make a lot of difference. Like you say, you picked and choose your events, and I think in the national rankings, like you say, you're sixth. But you've only played 8 events, and Jay Parky top, and he's played 11. So you've got room to move.
I mean, the big names are out of the match play as well. I mean, Jay Parkinson's out, Ben Clark's out. I just made it through to the last 8, beating Matthew Morgan yesterday. So
Excellent.
I'm feeling confident about my game.
Brilliant, mate. Well, I wish you every luck this weekend.
Thank you very much, mate.
And
you too.
hope you achieve everything that you wanted for the rest of the season. And thanks very much for joining me tonight, Tom.
No worries. Thank you very much, pal.
Thank you. Next up is special guest number 2. This man is considered one of the best foot golfers in the world, but most of his time now is spent organising events in both the UK and France. I'm pleased to say we are joined by National Tour Director Paul Oliver. Hi Paul, how are you doing?
Sean, evening mate, thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. We thought we'd best get the main man on, seeing as we've got the main event this week, the UK Open. How's preparations going?
Do you know what? It's good. I've been at Magnolia all day today. Sean and the guys there, Danny and Tom, they're getting the course prepped up. I think 11 or 12 holes went in today. Just said to the guys, look, take your time. Let's make sure that top surface is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going to see at Magnolia this week. That the greens are either cut on the collars that they're cut at 12 mil, or the fairway that's at 16 mil. So they're going to be quick, and it's in absolutely fantastic condition. So at the moment, I'm really pleased with how the prep's going.
Excellent. So is it pretty much going to be 18 new holes compared to the course that a lot of people played last year at the English Open?
Well, do you know what? There's 5 holes that remain, which would then obviously suggest there's 13 new ones, but not fully. It's probably easier if I quickly rattle through them. 1 is still played from the Island Tee,
Yep.
but it's played to a location that was near the second green. From there, you then go to the old 3rd hole.
Yep.
So it's now a short par 3 over the big bunker.
Okay.
Then the next hole was previously 2 par 3s, if you remember, a little par 3 in between the 2 ditches, and then
Yes.
one up by the two traps.
Yep.
That's now 1 par 4 around the lake to a back left
Okay.
flag position. So that's going to be what I call a game changer or a card killer.
Yep.
Whatever way, depending on how you play it. Then the next hole is the same. So that's now the 4th. I think it was previously the 7th, which is a par 5, actually removed 6. So it's then the 7th.
Yep.
It's a par 5 back up to the green, new hole location. That one was on Facebook Live earlier, so that is really tricky between two bunkers, and it needs the perfect approach. The next hole was a little par 3 that went up to the out of bounds fence. That hole is actually on the right of the bunker now,
Okay.
just on the edge of the fairway. So it needs a really strong tee shot, but should set up a 2. I mean, nobody's going to make it 4 or worse on that hole.
Yep.
And quite honestly, if someone makes a 5 on that hole, they need to pack up, walk back to the clubhouse, and get in their car. Then there's a string of new holes. So there's a little hole that's the remaining, the par 5 that goes up to the road. The new holes are fantastic. There's, I think there's 4 or 5 par 4s on the bounce, varying lengths, kind of from 120 to 185.
Okay.
Just have to think about every shot, which, as you know, is exactly how I want it. You know,
Yes.
I want people to not become relaxed and think, oh, this is easy. You know, it might look easy, but then there might be a sneaky little slope on the right side or on the left side, and
Yep.
I like to look at it as it is a Paul Oliver design. It is one of those where you've got to think about every shot, every time. And then we come into the finish. You remember the par 5 that played up in towards the 2 bunkers?
Yes.
That hole's moved now, and the flag is about 50 yards further on.
Okay.
It's on the golf fairway, but there's some humps and hollows there to play through, followed by the little par 3 around the lake, which has remained. I think that was one of the best holes we played on tour.
Yeah,
last
nice
year.
little hole, that one. Yep.
Then the next hole was 2 holes previously. It's now 1 hole. Absolute monster par 5. It's 372. And do you know what? It's the only hole of the month I've got a little bit of concern over whether it's going to be a bit too difficult for people.
Is that the one down the hill, walking up the
hill,
up the road and down the hill? Yeah. So the first,
That's
the first one was on the bottom on the right, and then yes.
That's it. And then the next one was up on the right hand side by the bunkers.
Yes.
Which was really difficult in the county champs.
Yep.
I mean, I know for one, I had problems on that hole. It's now on the back left of the golf green, but at the moment it's length at 372, which is a long way. But it's all going to depend on the weather.
Yeah.
If it's dry and the wind's helping, we'll play it from the tee box. Otherwise, I'll just shift the tee forward and just basically give people the option of having a ping over the ditch in 2.
Okay.
Those guys that are brave off the tee and brave with the second shot.
Yeah.
They're going to set up a birdie chance. Otherwise, you can play it relatively safe and make 5 or 6.
Okay.
Comfortably.
Okay.
And then we come on to the signature hole, which is 16, and it's if you remember, it was a par 3.
Par 3 last time. Yeah. Over the bridge.
That's right. It's now a par 4, played up to the back of the golf green. So I think it's improved the hole. It's made it perhaps a little bit fairer, and it's allowed people to lay up if they want to and still make birdie. Yeah,
and still attack the hole.
Exactly. It's a great hole. Next hole is now a par 4. It's basically a gimme birdie. After facing the tough 16th, I said, there you go, you can have one back. So everyone's going to birdie 17, and then we come on to the 18th, which I think is one of the most exciting 18th holes in foot golf. It's got everything, I remember, I think it's one of the best shots I've ever seen. Mark Cow's shot there in the playoff last year was just absolutely out of this world.
Yeah.
I think it carried about 120 or something stupid through the air, but I've put it at 100 yards, which basically means it's 65 to get onto the golf green.
Okay.
So if someone's really strong off the tee, they can get onto the golf green, then it should filter down and set up a 2. Otherwise, as you know, people can lay up and pass over and tap in for 3, but no one's going to make a 4 or 5, and if they do, really, they'd be forced into an error.
Yeah.
So it's a great finishing hole. So that kind of summarises the course.
Excellent. Sounds good.
3 or 4 minutes. It's in great shape. As I say, Sean, the greenkeeper there, he's really on board with the whole project. We're not just looking at just this event. I want to stage it at Magnolia Park moving forward. I want it to be the host venue for the UK Open.
Yep.
He's deserving of such a tournament. The GM there, Ben, he's really on board with foot golf, and I think that's what you need. You need people at golf clubs that really embrace it, because there are golf clubs that you can go to and they say, foot golf, we don't want people running on our fairways and kicking a ball and bouncing the ball in a clubhouse, but it's in some areas it's the future of golf clubs. It's helping keeping some of them alive, as you're obviously fully aware. So.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that a lot of golf clubs are embracing our sport more because they realise that it's an extra income stream, and a lot of them, it's keeping their golf courses alive.
Well, of course it is. I've seen that firsthand. It's why I got into foot golf initially. And as you know, I was down at Addington and introduced foot golf initially, and it did. I remember one day we had like 185 people coming to play foot golf.
Yep.
Now, if you put that into monetary terms, it's about $3,000.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, if you've got a golf club that's fairly successful through foot golf, it can add 30, 40, 50, even 6 figures, sometimes at some really successful clubs to the bottom line. All of a sudden that means that you can reinvest in changing rooms or buy new carpet or some new chairs for the clubhouse, or even keep membership fees down, which then in turn helps the golfers.
The golfers, yeah.
And that's the whole idea behind it. We're not there, as you know, to try and overtake golf and say, that golf's for old boys or fuddy duddies. because there's a lot of you boys playing foot golf now, so in the under 45s.
Hey, we don't do too bad. We're not bad, We're not bad.
That's right, without naming names, obviously. Sure, not talking about yourself.
So what about the format for the event? I know there's the pairs event on the Friday, is that right?
Yeah, National Pairs Championship on the Friday, kicks off 10 o'clock. It's an 18-hole qualifier. 12 teams are going to go to the Super Shootout, which really, is a great format. It's
Yes.
been copied, I think, a few times now in different tournaments around the world. And really, it was something I wanted to shorten it and make it exciting. So it's kind of 3 holes. 12 teams will play 3 holes.
Okay.
The best 6 will play another 3 holes. Then the best 3 will play the 16th hole, which basically will end up with the final 2 pairs playing. Sorry, the best 3 will play 16 and 17, which will end up with the final 2 pairs playing the 18th hole.
Okay.
For victory. And as you know, last year it was pretty exciting, and Paolo Di Canio and Andrea Di Scopo, they won it, which, funny enough, they were the 12th team to qualify.
Were they?
So, and I think, looking back, I think it was Shootsy and Ben Clark that shot -8 or something
Yeah.
to lead the qualifiers, and managed to get through to the final, but didn't win it.
Yep.
So, it just goes to show you just got to qualify, and anybody can do that. I think they qualified at -1.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the field, and it's a pretty open field. There's some big names in there, but I know there's. I think there'll be a few surprises.
Totally. I think Jacko and Mancino are going to enter if they can get flights over that are suitable for entering. They're going to play. A couple of French lads might enter late, so there'll be some strong tests for the UK.
Excellent.
But I think if you're looking at Shoots, Cullum, Clark, Parkinson, the form players,
Yeah.
they're going to be there or thereabouts, aren't they, at the end of the pairs?
Yeah, you would think
and
so.
then Friday night we've got the welcome cocktail. We'll announce the draw at 8 o'clock. And then Saturday, 36 holes, 9 o'clock and a 2 o'clock shotgun. And initially when I came up with the idea of staging the event at Magnolia, I was looking at 36 holes, but having then looked at the piece of land over the back of the golf course, there was so many slopes on it, and I just thought, I'll be making holes for the sake of making holes over here. So what I've come up with, I've used a piece of that land, and I've come up with a really nice, fair design for Magnolia.
Okay.
People can enjoy it. There's probably 9 holes there that are really quite tricky and technical and fitting for an event of the magnitude. And then there's 9 gimme birdies.
Okay.
So, there's something for everybody. And I think there's not going to be many people over par. I think the score is going to be quite low.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think the score's going to be? Any ideas? Winning score?
I think it's capable that someone can knock it round in 8, 9, 10 under for a single round. They probably wouldn't do it 3 times. I would be looking at maybe between 16 and 22
Okay.
for 3 rounds.
Okay.
Depending on the weather, obviously. The forecast is pretty good. Showers on Friday.
Yeah.
Nice and sunny Saturday. Nice temperature, 65, 70 degrees.
Yeah, it's looking nice for the weekend.
Yeah, and then Sunday dry and cloudy. So perfect for foot golf. A little bit of wind.
Which helps, depends which direction it's going in. Sometimes it doesn't help, but
it's good for the par 5s.
Yeah.
It's good for the par 5s.
if it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, that the main event, the UK Open, we're pretty much 3/4 of the way through the season now. It's getting down to the sort of the nitty gritty of the business end of the year. How's the season gone so far?
Yeah, I think it's been really positive. I think looking at last year, I think it was successful, but it really didn't tick every box for me, which is why I had this conversation with a lot of people. What I wanted to do this year, I wanted to create an event for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play a bit of pairs foot golf, you could. If you wanted to play 36 holes, you can. If you want to play 18 holes, you can. If you want to go to the seniors, there's a serious competition. I think the mistake was made last year where we had the seniors and the ladies and the juniors separate to everybody else.
Yes.
And I think that's the feedback I got. I also got a lot of feedback that people at national level didn't want to play 36 holes. And the pairs for me has worked fantastically in France. I've played it with Clint, the last couple of years, and we've loved it. So I had to introduce it into the UK because I think pairs foot golf really opens the door to a whole load of new winners.
Definitely.
And I think we've seen that. Craig Galbraith had a great season playing in team format with various partners. And even Chris Anderson's had some success. So Ando, lovely guy, hasn't had much success, but the pairs have poured into him. So it ticked the boxes, and I think looking ahead, the Super Series has been a huge success because what it does, it's low cost. It introduces people to professional events, tournament foot golf.
Yep.
And then we still got the main tour, and I've heard some people saying why is our tour being played overseas? And quite honestly, last 2 years there's a hell of a lot of UK players that travelled overseas and kind of got nothing for it. So I knew fairly early on the French Open and the Italian Open were going to be majors, and it was my selfish goal to kind of get some UK players at the top of the world rankings. And
well, I was just going to
Parky going over to the Italian Open and winning that was it's proved my point.
amazing. Yeah, I mean, I was
going
going
over there and we won it.
Yeah, I was going to say really probably Jamie Cullum wouldn't be world number one without the time being spent playing abroad.
Oh, 100%, of course. And Jamie and Ben have done great. They have travelled a little bit, and really they're now reaping the rewards of that travel, that extra commitment they're making. And look, it's not for everybody. It's obviously affordability has to come into it. But and I talk to people, say, the prices have gone up. Well, have they really gone up? Because you look at the Super Series, it's 25 quid the Super Series, a great event. The season ticket at the start of the season, 675 quid divided by the amount of events you could have played in. I think it works out at just over £30 per event, which includes the UK Open. So at the same time, I've tried to keep that affordability there. I had a conversation with someone the other day and who told me it would have cost them 150 quid to go to Scotland and back. Well, it doesn't cost 150 quid for the lads in Scotland to go to Scotland.
No.
So, they got to be fairly reflective on where they live in the country as well. And I think the biggest disappointment for me this year is not having an event down in the southwest. I would have loved to have gone back down there, and I think that's why the work that those guys are doing on the Southwest Tour is brilliant, because I think I'm going to benefit from that at Super Series level and national level next year.
Yeah.
Will we go overseas again? Probably not, unless something came up. I think I've tried it, I've tested it, it worked, and people love Marseille, people love the Irish Open, people love the French Open, and people enjoyed Italy. But, is there longevity in it? It's debatable. I love the pairs format. I love the idea of 36 holes. I love the idea of 18-hole competitions for those who just want to get out and play. And I think next year we're really going to see the benefit of the club league. There's a lot of people playing the club league and kind of, dipping their toe into tournament foot golf. So,
definitely.
And that's the key, and a lot of people say, it's elitist. Well, yeah, it is. I'm not trying to hide that fact. It is the Premier League of foot golf. The national tour, the international tour, they called it this year, and the Super Series. They're kind of tier 1 and tier 2.
Yes.
Tier 3 is for those people that are grassroots, and I think in UK foot golf we've got every box ticked. So look. In response to your early question, I think it's gone great this season. You can't please everybody, and I wake up in the morning to 15 messages, and I go to sleep at night with another 20 messages.
Yep.
I kind of live it, I breathe it, the foot golf tour, and I think sometimes people they kind of don't really realise how good it is in the UK. It is the strongest tour in the world. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We are producing the best players in the world, and I think that's proven now with the likes of Jamie and Ben and Parky, and we've done that consistently. The last 2 or 3 years, there's been Clint had a great year last year, and still now Clint is known as one of the best players worldwide. It's not gone for him this year. Nick is the same. There are people. We've been there and kind of been on the verge of success for a long time now with UK foot golf, and I think a lot of it is because of what we're doing at tournament level back in the UK, and it is great to see new names coming through, and there will be that evolution of foot golfer. Always said it, the best foot golfer that's ever lived probably hasn't even played the game yet. That's how new the sport is, and we've got to really keep our feet on the ground and understand where we are. You know, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, it should be on TV," and it will be on TV. At some point in the future, it will happen. You know,
it will. I'm 100% convinced it will. I mean, people seem to forget how early a sport it is and how long it's actually been going in this country. It's not been going that long, and for it to sort of get the recognition that we want it's going to take a little bit of time.
The whole need is to commercialise the sport. That's what has to happen, and to do that, you need the Premier League, you need the superstars, and that's why my focus and my role is to basically create those superstars, create that professional tournament scenario.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you turn on the TV and you look at sport. They're talking about Neymar, they're talking about Messi, they're talking about Ronaldo. They're not talking about Jimmy, what's his name, who's just banged in 5 down the park.
Yeah.
So, people want to see what happens at top level sport.
Yes.
And that's why the focus for me is on Tier 1 and Tier 2.
Yes.
Tier 3 will continue to grow. The Club League is a brilliant idea. It engages people that kind of just think, actually, I don't know how good I am. But there's more and more people coming through, I mean, you see that in Notts. You see it locally.
Yeah.
It happens great with the stuff that Bolsey's doing up at Style.
Yep. Yeah. I've most definitely seen it. I mean, we had the Notts Open yesterday, and we must have had 12 new players. Never played in a competition before, but I've just come through.
Exactly.
Just come through from the Club League and really enjoyed the day. I mean, it wasn't a serious competition, but it was getting 25, 30 people there and playing in a competition format, and they absolutely loved it.
Of course, but that's what has to happen. There has to be that stepping stone, that transition from playing locally to then thinking, actually, you know what, I'm going to play in the Super Series event that's in Notts, and then saying, actually, I really enjoyed that. Let me play in the next step up, and that was part of the reason why I came up with the whole pro idea and the whole amateur thing. To really allow people to compete.
Yep.
In the same competition, but not necessarily against the guys that are taking it mega serious.
Yes.
I would say there's probably 25 to 30 players that take it really serious now. There's probably about another 40 or 50 that take it serious enough, but aren't capable of getting to that level yet. You know?
Yeah.
But improvement will come.
Definitely.
I think we've seen that from a lot of players. Parky's a great example of that. That I remember playing Parky a couple of years ago, and not only did he do my head in for an hour and a half, but I thought to myself at the time, he's got so much talent. If he could just learn to play the game a little bit more, and that's what's happening. People are learning to play. It's a game after all. It's not let's see how far I can kick it. It's a case of a process in place and making sure that the score is essentially what counts.
Yes, definitely.
So there we are. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased with how the season's gone, and looking ahead, we've got the Midlands Open at Cold Ashby. Course is always great there. It's always in great shape. Followed by the Welsh Open. Great to go back there. It was a different course. I think you've got to have every shot to play that event. And then we finish off the season at Tilgate, which is, as you know, is going to be absolutely fantastic. I think it was my favourite last year. I grew up walking the dog around Tilgate, and I think I can actually picture every slope, every hollow, and every hump. Right now, it's a beautiful piece of land, and it's not difficult to create a really good foot golf course on there. It's just a shame that they don't want it there all the time, but their business model is based around weddings and golf, and at the moment it's not based around foot golf. But it's a great course nonetheless.
Yeah, looking forward to playing that one. So, anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it up. One last question. Who's going to be standing number 1 come Sunday evening?
Who's gonna win the UK Open?
Yeah, who's your tip? I'll put you on the spot here, so I wasn't going to ask you any awkward questions, but I thought I'd just drop that one in. There's a few guys on form: Ben Clark, Tom Spink, Jamie Cullum.
Yeah, outside of Clark, Cullum, Spink, Parkinson, I think they are the 4 favourites. I'd like to see Clint do well, and I'd like to see Clint do well for one reason: that he's absolutely doing my head in. He needs a good result, just so he's happy again. You know, everyone loves to see Clint when he's happy.
Yeah.
He won it last year around there.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a storming round there last year. I can remember.
But do you know what? It's the way it's set up this year. It's a left-footed course,
Oh.
so I think Shootsy and Scotchy will do well.
Okay.
And look, I haven't even mentioned Simon Vetzel, so I think a left footer will be up there or thereabouts at the end of play on Sunday afternoon. But it's going to be a great event. Can't wait for it to happen.
I can't wait.
And I get there early Thursday, and I'm excited now. I've got the next 2 days to go in fast forward mode.
Yeah, brilliant. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Paul. I will see you there on Friday, and hopefully we'll have a great weekend.
Brilliant. Awesome. Cheers, pal.
Thank you. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and join us again next month.
UK Foot Golf News sponsored by Vintage Foot Golf.